The meeting is called to order at 7:32. I would remind everybody that there are 2 items on the agenda. Those are the only 2 things we can talk about because this is a special meeting. So I'm going to read this long, laborious notice that Kat always makes me read. So the Town of Monroe Historic District Commission agenda, special meeting, March 23rd, 7:30 p.m., remote electronic public meeting. This meeting may be accessed by the public in real time via GoToMeeting, public access information set forth here and below. It says, let me go back up. Hold on a minute. Notice, public access to this meeting will be limited to joining the meeting as follows via computer, tablet, or smartphone at this link, gotomeeting-hyphen.com//join/730447533 or via cell phone or via phone at 203-1872-240-3412, access code 730-447-533. Please refer to further information provided at the end of the agenda regarding the remote access meeting and the use of GoToMeeting. Written comments in compliance with the guidelines for public participation in remote electronic meetings may be submitted in up to 1 hour in advance of the meeting via email to chuck.warner@fairfieldcountybank.com. The agenda items for tonight are public hearing, Sopoline C. Tang and Lakshmana M. Padapedi, 30 Colonial Drive, enlarge their rear deck and add a deck around their above-ground pool. 2, Matthew Rowley, 150 Old Tannery Road, add windows, a door, and a dormer to a barn, and that's followed by the adjournment. Information regarding this remote electronic meeting. On March 14th, 2020, in response to the COVID-19 epidemic and in an effort to reduce the risk of transmission by virtue of attendance at public meetings, Governor Lamont suspended the in-person open meeting requirements and permits conducting public meetings remotely by a conference call, video conference, or other technology. A copy of the full text of Executive Order number 7B, (1), is available for review at the Town of Monroe website, www.monroect.org. Accordingly, the Town of Monroe has selected GoToMeeting as the preferred technology application to conduct this remote public meeting in compliance with Executive Order number 7B, (1). This technology will permit up to 250 members of the public to participate in real time in a public meeting via computer, tablet, smartphone, or telephone via access information set forth in this meeting agenda. It is highly recommended that any interested participant download and utilize the GoToMeeting software application, which is available in the meeting link below prior to the commencement of the meeting. Each meeting may have unique participation information, including access codes, telephone number, and live link. Please be sure that you're accessing the correct information for the correct meeting. Notice is hereby given that this remote electronic meeting public shall permit the public to view or listen anonymously, and when permitted, participate in real time, to be recorded and posted to the town's website within 7 days, be made available to the public within a reasonable amount of time, (in town hall or upon written request), in addition to standard parliamentary procedures as outlined in this agenda. The following special rules apply to all participants. Please mute your telephone so as to reduce background noise at any time you are not speaking. Prior to speaking on each occasion, each speaker shall fully state their name and title for the record. The use of the chat features are prohibited and will not be considered during the meeting if in use. Notice is hereby given that only 250 participants may access this remote electronic public meeting at any one time. Access is granted solely by the GoToMeeting technology on a first-come, first-served basis and is not within the control of the town of Monroe. While it is anticipated this participation limit will be sufficient, shall the participants reach said limit, the meeting may be adjourned and continued on a later date using technology appropriate to ensure all members of the public may participate. All right. All right, so we're going to move on to the public hearing. Are either of our applicants here?
Matt is.
Yes.
Okay. All right, I'm going to start the public hearing by reading the notice. Historic District Commission, Monroe, CT, notice of public hearing. The Monroe Historic District will hold a public hearing at a remote special meeting on Tuesday, March 23rd, 2021, regarding the following applications for certificate of appropriateness: Sopoline C. Tang and Laxamana M. Puttapeti, 30 Colonial Drive, enlarge their rear deck and add a deck around their above-ground pool. Matthew Raleigh, 150 Old Tannery Road, add windows, a door, and a dormer to a barn. And that is dated the 11th day of February 2021 by Chuck Turner. March of 2021. Chairman, and that was published in Voices on March 17th, 2021. Since the first applicant is not here, I trust the commission would like to move to Mr. Raleigh's application.
Sounds good.
I am too. Gary?
Hello?
Gary? Well, I don't hear any objections, so Matthew or Dr. Raleigh, whichever you prefer, please proceed.
Matthew is fine.
Okay. Well, go ahead. You just basically tell us what you told us previously. As I said, we've heard this before, so I think we're all familiar with it.
Okay. Yeah, a few things that were different from the last time. I looked back through the records from the sale and I tried to date the barn based on some internal features as well. So based on internal features, I don't think it could be before the 1860s. And the sales documents on the house placed the barn at around 1920. So they said it was a 100-year-old barn. So that's kind of what I feel like I'm working with, as far as it's much newer than the older part of the house itself. So we're wanting to add a dormer that was kind of indicated in the picture there, that would match the ones on either side, as well as 2 windows on one side and a batten door.
And where will the door be located, Matt?
So that will be facing into our backyard. So away, because we're on a corner lot, it's it's the exact opposite side from Wheeler Road.
Okay. So this is not facing the house, but facing away from the house.
It's facing away from the house, facing the main backyard.
Okay. Okay. Comments about this? Questions? I mean, I think Matt did a very good job in the preliminary hearing. I think he covered most of our questions. Matt, what's the dormer supposed to look like? I believe Gary or Aaron suggested that it be more triangularly shaped. Am I correct in that?
Square shape.
I had suggested the triangular shape, and I think it was Gary who suggested the square box dormer. I'm definitely open to either one. Because of the slope of the roof, it would have to be a very small window, unless I wanted the snow to be piling up on top of the box dormer. So that's one of my concerns, and the other concern is that I don't want to remove too many beams from the inside. because there's no central beam running down the middle of the middle of the roof line. So I would either have to introduce a central beam or find another way to buttress what's already there. If I were to put in a box dormer. And I don't know if a later dating on the barn makes it okay to have the triangular dormer, but I'm open to hearing on that.
Matt, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, this is Gary Thompson. I have no objection to the eyelid type of dormer. My comment was that I thought that with a box shape like you have on your house,
Mhm.
you would get a larger window
Yes.
and get more light because you said you wanted to put the dormer there for more light.
Yes.
If you have a structural problem where you have to buttress the center beam of the roof, um, that's more work than I would imagine you would want to undertake.
Yes.
I have. It would be nice to have a box dormer, but it's not absolutely imperative. And since you've
Okay.
looked this up, and the barn itself is post 1920, is that what you said? 1920?
If the sales documents put it as a 100-year-old barn, I take that as pretty imprecise. But there are certain things in there. So judging by how the saw blades are cut and how just how the joinery is done, it couldn't be older than the 1860s. So I would say between 1860 and 1920, and they were estimating it around 1920.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Would the commission be comfortable with his choice on the dormer, since no one seems to have an objection to the box, and Gary, you don't seem to have an issue with the triangular? I mean,
No,
it may be your
the eyelet or inverted V style is it's an appealing look. I mean, it's just to get more light in there, the box dormer would be better. But if it's more work than the light is worth,
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
I mean,
No,
I don't want you to redo the roof.
I can't imagine trying to cut a center beam into there. I mean, it seems simple, and all you got to do is put a beam in there. But I mean, unless your contractor comes up with a great way to do it, I'm in favor of either.
Okay.
And Chuck, this is Aaron. I'm fine with what Matt wants to do.
Okay, so are we all good with either?
So
Okay.
I like the two windows on either side of the door. Those are currently there.
Those are original. Yes.
But
And I'm
the
gonna try to mirror that on the
windows
other
on
side.
the side make it look very attractive, and you should get more light just with those.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's at a spot right now where the downstairs kind of gets a decent amount of light, but yeah, the upper part is very dark. So
Are you going to have electricity going out there?
at some point, I'm sure we'll try to cross that path. I mean, right now I'm just trying to probably turning it into a writing shed or something like that for me, for doing research in. So yeah.
Matt, are you going to replace the windows on either side of the door and upgrade them, or just leave the originals as is?
I hope to leave as much as possible. There's one window that has deteriorated. One of the upper windows has deteriorated so bad that I think I'll need to look into replacing parts of it or the whole frame.
Are you looking for us to approve that tonight?
I don't know how that process works. My plan is to is to keep the windows that are already there.
To repair it if you can, and then if you
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
repair it,
So yeah, this is my first time owning a home, and I'm not sure. So a lot of it is the little wooden bits that are keeping it in place. Some of them, the ends of them have rotted through. So when I put the glass in and um, try to reglaze it, it just falls out again. So I'm not sure if I need to replace some smaller bits within that window.
Matt,
Yes,
what type of window would be replaced, and what would you replace it with?
it would be like with like.
Okay.
So
Um,
yeah,
so what is it? Is it a 4/4?
the ones on the top, so the ones on the bottom, I'm gonna remove and readjust because they're at an angle and can't open and close.
Okay.
Yeah, those ones are 8/12s, but then the ones on the top are 4x3, so 12 squares in total.
and that's the one you need to work on, the upper ones, right? That's the one
Yeah,
that
the upper ones are falling apart.
All right. But would you be replacing them with the like kind?
Yeah, and I'd likely try to go to a salvage place, and if I have to replace the whole thing, go to a
Okay.
salvage place and find the same size. But my plan is to just find the individual pieces of wood for now, and
Okay.
try to replace those.
Well, Matt, if it's like kind, you don't have to have a public hearing.
Okay,
We can approve that with a clarification letter to the town.
okay,
And Matt, you can always ask me. I know I see you all the time walking by, so you can always check with
yeah,
me.
all right,
It's
Yeah.
okay,
more-
thanks.
I mean, literally, you have two neighbors right around the corner from you. So.
Who's my other one?
All right. Me.
Ah, okay,
I live on Fan Hill, right next to the Congregational Church.
okay,
So don't hesitate to ask.
all right, thank you.
All right. Other questions?
Now, everything else
Can I look-
is according to what you said in your preliminary, at the preliminary hearing.
Hmm.
All right. If there are no further questions or objections, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve as presented. Is
Okay.
that all
I'll
we need, here, Chuck?
Okay. All right. Approved as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Let the record reflect it passed unanimously 3-0.
Thank you.
All right. So Matt, you need to get me. I'll need to sign a certificate of appropriateness for you. I'll go
Okay.
back and check my email. I think you sent me one, but if not, I'll send you one to send over to me.
Okay,
All right.
and
All right,
do I have to
Commissioners,
send? Okay.
What's that?
So
For
just send you the proposal and then you send the certificate of appropriateness?
I'm sorry.
For clarification, Chuck, if he submits the application and it states that he is going to repair or replace in like kind the upper window, then he doesn't have to come back to us if
Correct.
he has to replace
Correct. Correct.
So Matt, do you have a written proposal, or do you have there's an application that you could actually write this all on that you would send to Chuck and then he would sign off on it?
Oh, okay, that's what I was trying to figure out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's You need a certificate of appropriateness to get a building permit in the historic district. So I will
Okay.
I'll send you the certificate of appropriateness.
Okay,
So you should be good to go. Commissioners, I think the next one is a little more tricky, but since the applicant is not here and we only have 3 members, and then you may recall in the past I presented on behalf of applicants, and then recused myself since I was presenting on their behalf. However, I think we had a very thorough preliminary hearing, and I would really like to accommodate the homeowners to the extent we can. Were there any outstanding issues that there were questions upon? I think we know what the application was about. It was about expanding a rear deck to provide more surface space. They're going to expand it out, and they're going to put a half circle around the existing above ground pool that we approved last year. There'll be a gate going up to the deck to avoid people getting up there and falling in. I think the deck was very consistent with, as I recall, with what they had currently had, so there was not a significant difference. Do we want to bring these people back for a second public hearing? These are homeowners we have dealt with before.
I just to make sure that at a public hearing, that nothing has changed in his proposal from the preliminary hearing. Now, if we have him come back at the April meeting, that would mean we'd have to post a call for a public hearing, another public hearing.
That's
correct?
We'd have to renotice this. Here's a
I don't know
thought.
the protocol. Like, they didn't have a public hearing, right? That was just a preliminary last time.
That is
Yes,
correct. But since this meeting has been called to order, and I think we can do this, I can adjourn the public hearing to our April meeting and preserve the notice, since the meeting was called to order.
Yeah.
If
You
the
can
meeting
do
was not, the meeting was not called to order, we couldn't do that. That was the meeting we couldn't sign on to do the public hearing.
Yep.
So I think in the interest of everybody, I'm going to adjourn this. I believe the meeting is April 6th. So I'm going to adjourn the public hearing, and then I'm going to adjourn this meeting, unless anyone has an objection.
I'm fine with that.
As I say, I think that the homeowner's application is very straightforward, but again, it's not, Gary's point is well taken. We've heard one presentation. We don't have someone here to answer questions as to whether anything has changed.
Yep.
So in the interest of fairness, we will adjourn the public hearing to our regularly scheduled meeting on April 6th. All right, so the public hearing is adjourned. It is adjourned at 7:55. And so the public hearing is adjourned, and that was the only matter on the agenda, so the meeting itself is adjourned. Thank you very much, one and all. And
wait a minute, you can't say the meeting. Oh, I'm sorry. The meeting is adjourned until April 6th.
the public hearing is adjourned until April 6th. I believe that's the correct date. And
Right.
our meeting itself is adjourned. Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Mhm.
Talk to you both April 6th.
Yes, I believe the 6th is the next meeting.
Okay.
Sounds good.